So, we are back.
Okay, and we're back with round 3 of the Grand Open in Berlin, with Philip Beck and his panel magicians.
And Marvin Wegner with his World Cellist deck.
Okay, so quite interesting deck.
Yeah, a new deck from Call of the Duelist, a link-based deck, which has some potential. It can do some crazy shenanigans first turn, building up a huge field with a lot of link monsters, so I'm kind of pumped to see what it can do today.
Yeah, and as you can see, the players are getting ready. Actually, I hope that Marvin, I think it's Marvin, right?
Yeah, Marvin Wegner.
That he's winning the dice roll, because I'm actually excited to see the shenanigans of the deck.
Yeah, the first turn is gonna be long, or at least exciting. There will be a lot of movement happening, a lot of different summoning methods happening. So.
So they're shuffling up, rolling the dice.
Yeah, it's starting now.
So we see a 4 on Marvin's side, and a 1, I guess, on Philip's. So we could see, yeah. So Marvin is going to start.
Okay, he has an opening play. I can see it already. He has a normal monster in his hand, which is not that bad for a start.
Okay, he's playing Into the Void. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, he plays 3 copies of it, so he wants to increase his consistency, but he will definitely lose his hand in the end phase.
Well, I mean, if he's going all in, like having this big field at the end.
So what he's going to do now with the normal monster, he's going to link summon, I presume, Imduk, because he just needs a normal monster. Oh no, he wants to summon the Link Spider, which also just requires a normal monster. And then summoning the Imduk, which is allowing him to have an extra normal summon for his turn. For a, I think it's just World Chalice monsters, I'm not quite sure.
And there is it, the World Legacy.
Yeah. When this tribute summoned card is sent to the graveyard, he can special summon 2 World Chalice monsters from his deck with different names, which is a pretty powerful effect. But it's a level 5 tribute summon monster, so. And he did summon Aurum, I think it is.
Normally at this point, if your open activates Ash, it should be over, right? Like the turn basically passes.
With this hand he has right now, yes, that would be pretty bad for him because he's also Into the Void. He would lose his entire hand, which would be really bad.
Okay, so why did he summon 3 monsters at this point?
Every time a World Chalice extra deck monster, like Link monster, sent to the graveyard, he can special summon a normal monster from his hand. So he's able to special summon 1 of his vanillas from his hand and special summon 2 with the World Legacy from his deck.
Okay, I see.
I'm not quite sure, is it just normal monsters or
World Chalice monster.
World Chalice monsters in general, I'm not quite sure about that. But yeah, this allows him to like spam the board with more monsters. Now he's going for Ip. It needs 2 monsters with different types and different attributes as material, and it's kind of like Proxy Dragon just for World Chalice, protecting the monsters. He's linking up for, I think, a second link too.
So yeah, he's rethinking. Yeah, so he goes into another. Okay,
Proxy Dragon.
So he's going to special summon. Okay, I see. So he's going to
go for Ningirsu, which allows him now to draw 2 cards for every card, for every World Chalice he's pointing to.
I think he built Chainlink, yeah. He built Chainlink like this, that he's going to draw 3 cards.
Yeah. Special summoning the World Legacy, which is once per turn. He can't get like another 2 World Chalice monsters from his deck now.
Would be pretty insane. But still, It looks alright. Oh, there's a Brilliant Fusion.
And the Rescue Rabbit, but the normal summons are used already for this turn, so he won't be able to use this Rescue Rabbit. It will die in the end phase.
Well, it depends actually, because we have this pretty cool Link Monster Firewall Dragon, which eliminates the problem of normal summons basically.
That's true.
So I could see actually that he goes into a Firewall Dragon.
But first, he's going for the Raphinite, Gem Knight. Yeah, I always wondered why Rabbit just had the clause that he cannot be special summoned from the deck. Why not be special summoned in general? So he special summoned the next power card of his deck, which is Venus, which is able to get him the Shine Balls from his deck or from his hand, which are more normal monster that he can use for further plays. But now he has also to keep an eye on his field, because now it's getting kind of clogged.
So what can we expect in the end, like the field? How will it look?
What I can see is he's playing 2 Firewalls. I presume maybe the first one he will use for maybe recycling some cards which he might need, and the second one as a defensive firewall for the opponent's turn. But I'm not quite sure, because he already has the Venus on the field. Maybe he will be able to have both Firewall Dragons live during the opponent's turn, which would be pretty huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're just like a few steps away from the extra link. So basically that he gets control of both extra deck zones. I'm not quite sure what are the rules that you can control both. That every card is pointing to each other, or basically both extra deck zones are pointing down and then sidewards. I'm not sure
Excuse
about
me?
this. For the extra link.
For the extra link he needs, I'm not quite sure what the definition is right now in the TCG, but the actual one was like pointing everyone co-linked from the left, like in U-shaped form to the other side. That he might be able to pull off with some Link Spiders if he wants to do it, but usually Link Spider is not that big of a threat, because usually it just has 1000 attack and can be attacked over kind of fast. Except you have two Firewall Dragons on the field, which can bounce a lot of stuff from the opponent. So there's the second Firewall Dragon coming down.
And now he's going to special summon the Virtual Searcher. Lee, I guess.
It's Lee. When she's normal or special summoned, she can add a World Chalice card from the deck, I think. Not only monster, I'm not quite sure. And you can add her back from the graveyard by discarding a card and adding it back to the hand. Both effects are once per turn.
And that was the end of the turn.
2 Firewall Dragons, which are linked up by an IP, which is protecting them from destruction.
So basically he can bounce like 2 monsters, right? From the graveyard or from the field, now with the Firewall Dragons.
I'm not sure if he used one of the... no, I don't think that he added back anything.
No.
Because maybe to the extra deck he recycled something. I haven't paid attention that
Don't
much.
think so. So yeah.
People are already asking here for a Dark Hole. This is usually, like, major board wipes are usually, yeah, like the worst enemy for this deck.
Well, unfortunately for Philip, there's no Dark Hole in the main deck. Not even in the side deck, so... But we're going to talk about that afterwards.
Yeah, he starts off with a Wisdom Eye and a Harmonizing Magician.
To get Double Iris, so probably Wearing Eyes.
They're both the same scale, aren't they?
Exactly, so it has to be the Wearing Eyes in hand.
Everything else would be kind of interesting if he does not have it.
Well, I mean, something that a lot of people are underestimating is the pressure that you have when you're playing in a feature match area.
That's true.
But yeah, there you see the Wearing Eyes.
So he will get at least the search.
He will get the search of Double Iris, and I'm pretty sure he will have scales for sure.
Yeah, Harmonizing is not doing anything when it's getting destroyed. Oh, he's adding the Astrograph Sorcerer, so I think he will trigger it on the resolution of Wavering Eyes.
Exactly.
And add one of the both cards which were destroyed
Astrograph says you can add a monster that was destroyed this turn at some point, so he can even take the Wisdom Eye back.
But it needs to be in the graveyard, banished, or I think on the extra deck or something. And that's
Exactly.
some restriction to it.
So he's going to search with Double Iris, probably trap card or spell card, not spell card. So he will have follow up play surely. Okay, so Skullcrot Choker. So why did he? How did he search? Okay. So he searched the Wisdom Eye. So he's activating Poison Eyes.
Yeah, the chat is mentioning
Wild
that
poison.
Marvin has lost 500 life points due to the effect of Wavering Eyes, which is doing 500 burn damage. So maybe the judge missed that, or
I think Marvin should be even at 6,500 because he paid 2 times also for Venus.
that's true.
We're going to fix that afterwards, surely. So now, with the effect of Star Pendulum Graph, he's going to search, I guess, Harmonizing Magician, if it's not already in hand. Okay, so he's going to search Double Iris, interesting. And we'll see probably pretty big Pendulum Summon at this point.
Let's see what he's going to summon here.
So once Double Iris from the extra deck in attack position, Double Iris from hand, and there's the Harmonizing. Okay, so Harmonizing is going to special summon something. I'm not sure on the IPE ruling exactly. What happens if a board wipe gets activated? Does IPE
Protector, like, I think they have the same ruling as Proxy Dragon, I think. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
Because when Proxy Dragon on the field is getting destroyed with a board wipe, he can't protect the field.
Okay, so in this case, I think Philip should have game on the field if he's going to special summon or synchro summon.
The Servant Clearwing?
Exactly, yeah.
Clearwing Servant Dragon?
Which apparently he's not playing it.
Is he not?
That's quite interesting, or at least I can't find it on his list.
He's playing only the
Venom Dragon.
The Venom Dragon. That's
Okay.
interesting. So he has some different options here than usual. So let's see if he's going to summon anything that's like not triggering on the summon. He might be able to bounce it back with one of the firewalls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, someone is mentioning maybe it works because it cannot be destroyed as long. I think she has a co-link, or I think is linked to another monster. I think this might
Oh,
be
okay.
actually
I
working.
see.
But I'm also not that sure about it. I've played the deck like 2.5 months ago, I think. But since then I haven't touched the deck anymore.
I mean, it's something interesting that you mentioned though with the firewall dragons. So Philip really has to pay attention what he's going to do. And now, as you can see, I think he didn't use the effect of Harmonize Magician.
Or is he still thinking?
No, he went into a battle phase, attacking a firewall dragon with a Double Iris Magician.
Why did he summon the Harmonizing Magician in attack mode? It has like 0 attack and 0 defense, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah.
So it's not the big of a threat. Why not in def?
I mean, he still has Violet Poison Magician in scale, so he can push it 2,200 attack points to get over, for example, the Lee in defense.
or one of the viewers is suggesting Ip cannot be destroyed from board wipes, and she is also able to protect one monster which would be destroyed by tributing one of the monsters he's pointing to instead, I think, or itself.
Okay, so he's
Itself,
going
I
to use the Firewall Dragon, getting back Ingor from grave to the extra deck. Okay, interesting.
Interesting. Not using it offensively.
Yeah, so he's going to use the Poison Eyes
To destroy one of the firewalls.
I think just to run over it for the 500 damage. It's actually okay.
Now he's forced to chain the second firewall.
Well, the thing is, basically he can't use the effect of Firewall Dragon because it's in damage step. The second one. Because Wild Poison destroys itself, I think, in a damage step.
Yes, that's right before damage calculation. There he won't be able to chain firewall, except he has destroyed it by any other way. But I don't.
Okay.
If he can use instead, because she can. She's the condition, I think.
Okay, so maybe someone should go and tell it to them. Just a second.
So they worked it out.
Yeah. I think we resolved it. So the Garnet is back in the graveyard. Yeah. Okay, so the Firewall Dragon can still use his effect, but however he has like no co-link. So it's more or less 2,500 Vanilla monster on the field.
So is he going to ram his Astrograph Sorcerer into it, or what? No, I don't think so.
I think it's not necessary because he can go afterwards into a rank 4 or level 8 synchro, which could like just clear the field.
Yeah, he could go for Ignister, for example.
I mean, Ignister is at this point great because he can destroy his Double Iris Magician to such a trap card, which basically seals the game afterwards because the War Trials player is left with no cards. And I'm not too familiar with War Trials, but I think that's one of the biggest issues the deck has, and that it can't recover from like getting back to the game with 0 cards.
Yeah, they don't have like cards like Pot of Avarice or something at their disposal, so usually they go all in first turn, especially when they're playing Into the Void as well, which is like killing off all hand trap options which they might be playing. This is why I think he's playing so many traps. I think like 5 traps is not that much, but usually I don't play any traps in World Challenge. But he's playing 5 traps so that he can at least like set them when he's drawing them, and then he can use them against his opponent. But he was not lucky to draw any of them.
Yeah. Okay, there's the Ignister. He's not playing any Luster, so yeah, he's going to destroy Double Iris to bounce back the Firewall.
I think the Virtualist player is fine with that.
I'm actually not sure if I would have sent back the Firewall. I think probably rather the Lee, because he can still use Lee for Link shenanigans and getting it back from the graveyard. And if it's in deck, he has to redraw it. And the Firewall, on the other hand, doesn't do anything at this point.
to set and end phase.
Okay, so
Let's see what he's going to draw. Any copy of Into the Void will be also dead draw now. Now he has a lot of dead draws in his deck. Brilliant fusions.
does he have a way back into this game through
He can use
Rough.
in the graveyard his world legacy and his world chalice monsters like Guard Dragon, I think it is in English, and Lee as well.
So he's searching another world legacy, probably, yeah, well, going to summon it, and afterwards,
The opponent's verifying if he can search itself. Yes, that's true. He can search just world legacy cards, so it includes himself, and he's not excluding himself. So when he has that's Imperial Order he has in his hand.
doesn't do that much. I think what he's going to do now is tribute summoning it, crushing it into Astrograph, special summoning 2 monsters from the deck, and hope to get through some link action back into the game.
His opponent is flipping up the trap. Is he using it immediately?
I think so. It's actually a smart play to get rid of the Lee so that he doesn't have the chance to.
And that's
So-
it. He's folding now because there's no options left anymore in his deck, and now they are going into the siding process.
Yeah, Philip Beck takes the first game, even though Marvin started with a pretty cool War Charles combo.
Yeah, it's like a
However-
regular start with like on the monster field side, but he didn't have any back row or hand
Exactly.
traps to like help the field to combat magicians.
In the beginning, it looked really scary when Marvin started combo with everything, but I think his draws were a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, like you said, he needs the trap cards to back up the Firewall Dragons on the field. Yeah, let's talk about the side deck.
Yeah, let's see. I didn't even see the side deck till now. So he has hand traps in his side deck. Maybe he is when he's going second, he's siding out into the voids and going into hand traps. He has Raigeki's Darkhold, but I think he will go first again this game. And interestingly enough, he has 2 Chaos Trap holes. Are they effective against?
They're
Pendulum
really good against Pendulum Magician, because on one side they're banishing the cards, so Double Iris, Black Fang, Violet Poison, Wisdom Eye, Joker.
I think Wisdom Eye is light, isn't it?
Yeah, but Chaos Rebel is
Yeah,
like-
Chaos Sword of the Wolf.
And
you're
the
right.
other thing is, it's not destroying the cards; it's just banishing. So none of them will trigger, unlike Strike or Warning.
Yeah.
So it's pretty huge in this matchup.
What I
this
see is
particular
like
matchup.
all of the cards are going second, like also Free Gamesiels. Maybe the Twin Twisters on like first, second, depends on the matchup. The only like more defensive card here for going first is like Chaos Trap Hole.
I mean, if the deck starts, you normally should win because of all the combos that he's doing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's in the side deck of our Pendulum Magician player? Because he had some interesting choices in the side deck and the extra deck already. So I'm
Well,
curious.
he's playing the Maxi, which will get in for sure. Can imagine that he's also going to put the DD Crow in there. As we saw in the first game, it was kind of crucial when he used the War Chalice XC to summon back the Venus.
I'm not actually sure if the World Chalice deck is able to deck out someone when he's getting Maxi. That would be an interesting win.
I think
For
probably
sure.
not. I mean, I'm also not sure. War Chalice, a lot of players aren't that familiar with the deck, so normally when you're going to side against it, you just have a look what happened in the first game, and so I think that T-Crow could actually be a huge contender for the deck after siding, just because he reused Graveyard kind of few times with the Little Dragon, with the Link monster that special summoned back Venus, the World Legacy monster.
Yep.
And otherwise, I think that's more or less it, what he's going to side. I mean, I could imagine like Saphion to get rid of Anti-Spell or something like that, which he could assume that it gets in. But yeah, probably just Maxi and DD Crow. Or yeah, and as well the Raigeki. Almost forgot that one. Okay, So he starts off with Brilliant Fusion,
Upstart.
World Legacy.
That's a really good opener when you
and
have
what's the trap card?
Brilliant Fusion plus the World Legacy. It's a pretty good opener already because you're getting already the second normal summon from the Raphinite. The other one I haven't seen. One is the Vanilla Dispel. I don't know. Is it maybe? Wait, let me see. Is he playing?
He has the 1/8 attack guy.
He's playing Transmodify in this deck. It might be Transmodify, which is an interesting take for.
Well, he still has the Upstart Goblin,
he's sending one of his Venuses.
so he's probably going to do the same play as before, summoning back Venus. He has still the Upstart in the
Yeah,
hand.
that's the Upstart, and the trap is, I think it's Imperial Order, maybe? No, it's Dimensional Barrier. This might be a really good card for him, depending on how he plays out this now. So he goes first with Aurum, who needs 2 World Chalice monsters. The World Legacy monster is a World Chalice monster as well, so he can use both of them for the Link Summon and trigger the effect of his World Legacy monster to special
And
summon
there's
Lee.
the Ash.
Oh yeah, now
Well
we have
played. Letting go the Seraphinite to afterwards Ash it.
So he's going to Upstart now.
Pretty smart. And there's
Getting a second Brilliant Fusion, which is absolutely that.
well, he's not playing 2 Hornets, I guess.
No, he's playing one. Not siding a second one or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you have your answer for your question from game 1. What happens when when you ash it? Yeah, usually you're sending it with some other cards which might trigger like the monsters itself. Then you can build a chain so you can't get ash. But this time he had no other link monsters in his chain to somehow special summon that one normal monster he had in his hand. He can stall for 1 turn with Dimensional Barrier. But I think Aurum itself is not a big threat. I think he has like 1/8 or 1/6 or 1/9 attack points. I think.
Even 2000 or something like that. But I think the point is if he
double
go
Wisdom Eye.
if he's going to use the Dimensional Barrier and nothing happens on the side of Philip, he's like 1 monster away from having game, because Aurum can like just resummon the Venus from graveyard and then he goes crazy at this point. And I think the hand of Philip was pretty much just monsters, so it could be difficult to play around the Dimensional Barrier or doing much against it.
It depends. If he's going now for a low level scale and he's anticipating barrier and is going directly to Pendulum Summon, then he can't stop it.
Well,
But usually you want to get the value out of your second Magician, so it depends how he feels in the situation right now.
I think on Philip's side it would be correct to go for a low scale and force the barrier at this point.
But he goes for Black Fang, which is a high scale, I think.
Well, but even at this point, I think it's correct to use the Dimensional Barrier, or he has to use it, because he could potentially now Pendulum Summon Astrograph, which
would be an awkward play, though.
It wouldn't be that great, but still get rid of the last monster on Marvin's side. And as we saw before, War Chalice is really struggling with like no monsters to play.
So he's debating what to do here.
I mean, he's not playing any Apex Avian or something like that, so it's really just an Astrograph.
No Odd Eyes, no nothing.
Not at all, no. Okay, yeah, so he's using the second Wisdom Eye.
Presumably for low scale. If he's greedy and is going for high scale and then for wisdom, oh, that's great. Oath Dragon Magician, a card which is from the original structure deck Master of Pendulum. Good, like 1-off or 2-off, depending on the build you're playing, to make your Pendulum summons more effective, because you can add back one of your Pendulum monsters from your extra deck, guaranteeing you an extra monster getting Pendulum summoned. yeah, when you don't have any link monsters open to summon multiple monsters from your extra deck.
Exactly.
Since the new ruling, you have kind of problems, depend on summon a lot of monsters. So this is the way how to kind of jump through it.
And so he took back with Oath Magician one of the Wisdom Eyes.
And now he can't special summon or use the effects of any of his Pendulum monsters.
I mean, what he still could do is like using Black Fang to halve the attack of what's the name again?
Aurum.
And then just like run over with the Wisdom Eye just to get rid of the monster.
I don't think that Aurum right now is in threat at all.
Okay, there's the
how much
poison?
attack has Poison Eye?
1200.
1200. Okay, then he will be still able to run it over and have.
Okay, so now he just runs over it without destroying his Poison Eyes. Pretty smart, because Poison is still kind of difficult to deal with, just because of destruction effect.
I think the World Chalice player has to rip now something great, but I don't think
Well,
that you
he
can do
still
anything
have-
with one card.
He still has the Legacy in the graveyard, so
That's true.
it's not like
But
it's
he needs to top
unwinnable.
deck a normal monster actually here to get Imdak on the field, and then with the World Legacy to do something. But he drew another World Legacy, which is awful. Now he can have two of them if he wants to. Someone is also suggesting Soul Charge. Yes, it would be a great top deck as well. And he's playing it. Last minute change, I think he put it in for Foolish Barrier.
Yeah, now we have the two World Legacies in hand, as you mentioned.
And he will pass this turn, I think. I don't know. Does he have anything? I don't think he has not Lee, Guard Dragon, anything in the graveyard to.
No, just a
advance this game
second Pearl
state.
Infusion face down.
Yeah.
That game could actually be over at this point, depending on the hand of Philip. So there's the Wisdom Eye, getting Double Iris Magician.
Presumably. For this red win, he did not side out the Everest spell card. He does not play it in the main deck or in the side deck, so he does not even have it.
Okay. He's
That would be a
going
great top deck as well to get two World Chalice monsters from the graveyard back. I think it is.
I think the only chance for Marvin is basically if Philip is playing a little bit passively because of the face down card, like not going all in, because there could be a potential strike face down or something like
Or
that.
second barrier again. But then he would have already preemptively, I think, flipped it again.
Yeah, exactly.
And usually when I play against World Chalice, I'm not anticipating that many traps, so I try to like just go straight forwards ahead, because usually they're just setting their last spells that they have drawn and just try to bluff in something. But he's anticipating this behavior and is actually playing some good traps.
Okay, yeah, so he's going to Pendulum Summon the Black Fang Dragon, and the Harmonizing, and Double Iris, and Wisdom Eye. Okay, so
Now he's
he has
going
no fear, so
Now he's going all in. And the user again is suggesting he could have searched the spell card just with the World Chalice World Legacy monster by banishing it, because it's also a World Legacy card.
does he play the spell card?
No,
I think
not
yeah.
in the main or side deck. But he's playing emergency teleport. What is his target? It's just
a level 3 normal monster, I think.
yeah.
Should be
I think this
Psy
is the
monster.
only target. His vanillas. There is he, the Chosen. He's playing 2 copies of him.
Okay, there's the Ignister. They're probably going to use the effect. And then there's enough damage on the field to go for game.
Nope, he's not playing Ghost Ogre. Chat. He's playing them in side deck, I think, but yeah. and that should be a lot of damage. Yeah, that's game.
And as you can see, our panel magicians are still unbeaten this weekend, with Philip Beck taking a quite quick 2-0 over Marvin Wagner, which had some unfortunate draw, basically, or the hand traps that disrupted his plays now in the
Yes.
second game. And the first game, he didn't draw any trap cards to back up his pretty interesting
Yeah,
big
the
field. Yeah.
yeah. Game 2 he had not the chance to establish any field because of the Ghost Ash, and in the first game his draws were unlucky, so he couldn't like stop the Pendulum player from going off and destroying his fields step by step.
So yeah, like I said,